Baker here with some tips about reaching out to an adult alienated child. So the first thing is you should be reaching out to an adult alienated child. There might be an exception or two, but in general, it's important to keep reaching out, letting your child know that you're available, you're safe, you're loving, you want a relationship, you want to work on things, you want things to be better. Don't assume that just because you sent a bunch of emails a while ago that your child knows that. It might be obvious to you, but it may not be obvious to your child. So you want to keep reaching out, never give up on that relationship. When you reach out, you want to make sure that you're not maudlin, self-serving, manipulative in any way. So you can't say like, I weep for my lost child, or I haven't smiled since the last time I saw you. Even if it sadly might be true, you need to not try to induce your child to feel guilty. The next thing is don't try to tell your child your side of the story, or don't even say, well, if you knew my side of the story, you wouldn't be mad at me. It just doesn't really help, because it's basically saying to the child, everything you think and feel is wrong. You need to see things from my point of view. There may be a time for that later, but when your child is at this point completely not receptive and you're reaching out sort of cold, you don't want to give the message, I'm right and you're wrong. I also suggest refraining from sending links to alienation websites or sending books, unless your child says, hey, there's that thing you talked about, I'd like to learn more about it. Otherwise, don't impose your perspective on what happened to the child. When you do reach out, which you should be doing on a regular basis, you can cycle through a variety of communication strategies. So the first is a general just, hey, I love you, miss you, I'd love to work things out kind of email or message. You can also do a relevant photograph. Like if your child loves puppies and you're walking down the street and you see an adorable puppy, snap a picture and send it to your child and say, I thought of you, right? Or if you saw the new Star Wars movie and that's something you used to do with your child, you could say, hey, did you see the new blah, blah movie? You can also do general invitational communication, like, hey, I'd love to come visit you sometime. How about if we get together and take a walk sometime? So you're not like pinning the child down, but it's just generally like, hey, I'd love to get together. You could also do specific invitations. How about, I come by this Sunday and we take a walk. So you just want to keep cycling through a variety of messages. Even if you're not getting any response back, I do know cases where the kid says later, hey, all those messages you sent, well, I was actually reading them. So you need to have it's a bit of a leap of faith that you're doing something that will have a good impact, even if you are not immediately seeing it. I think of it sort of as watering a flower. When you plant the seed and you just keep watering the earth and you don't see anything, it's a leap of faith, and then sort of magically, hopefully something good will happen. If you continue to not get any positive response from your child, you can send something slightly more provocative, like, hey, you must be mad at me, or I'm guessing that you're really hurt and angry with me, and see if that doesn't pull for something from the child. All right, I hope these tips have been helpful.